Imagine this. You're a rich and successful businessman, living the dream you've had since childhood. But suddenly, a heart attack takes your life. And just like that, everything ends. Or so you thought. Next thing you know, you've been reborn into a poor family. Today's story follows our main character, Jin Seong-guk. Let's dive in and see how he faces challenges in his new life and whether he can reclaim his old dreams, this time with a brand new identity. The news broadcast plays on TV. The reporter is covering a major story about one of the top 3 conglomerates in the country. After 13 hours of intense discussions at the shareholder meeting, Samjo Group has chosen a new chairman, the news anchor announces. The scene shifts from a massive conference hall to a luxurious office where Jin Seong-guk sits comfortably in his chair, watching the news. MC smirks confidently. "Yeah, keep praising me. I am the real king of Samjo Group." He leans back, lost in thought. Reaching this moment wasn't easy. I studied abroad, avoided my foolish siblings, and cleaned up the mess my uncle created. I handled the nightmare of an arranged marriage with strategy and charm. On top of that, I built myself a flawless public image. That's why I'm the most admired third-generation heir. MC looks out the window at the city skyline, then at his own reflection in the mirror. It's only natural that I'm the master of Samjo Group. Now that the real leader is here, it's time to clean up the trash. A devilish smile appears on his face. First order of business, get rid of John Tegu and his lackeys. Suddenly, MC's expression changes. His chest tightens, his heart pounds, and his phone slips from his hand. Panic washes over him as pain surges through his body. No, my grandfather, the founder of Samjo Group, he died of a heart attack too. MC collapses to the ground, gasping for breath. No, this can't be happening. I refuse to go out like this. Darkness creeps in as his vision fades. His breathing slows, and the world turns pitch black. Then, light returns. The scene changes to a small house. A little boy is playing on the floor, while his parents watch him lovingly. His mother, Kim So-young, age 21, smiles and says, "Honey, don't you think our Seong-guk is super handsome?" His father, John Jiseo, grins. "He's even cuter than most celebrity babies." The camera zooms in on the baby, who suddenly covers his mouth, his eyes widening. Baby MC thinks to himself, "Lucky you!" He clenches his tiny fists in frustration. What the hell is this? Where's my perfect body? 183 centimeters in height, 75 kilograms of solid muscle, my record-breaking weightlifting stats? Where did they all go? Tearing up, baby MC cries out internally, "How did I end up as this tiny, stubby, 3 heads tall thing?" Then, flashes of his past life return. A prestigious family, an impressive physique, a flawless resume. I was Jin Seong-guk, a ruler in my own right. And now, I've been born into a poor family? He looks at his new parents, a young couple in their 20s, both from orphanage backgrounds, with no wealth or status. This is my new family. Memories of his previous life's final moments rush back. I was celebrating with my favorite wine, Chateau Sonal. A single bottle cost 4 million won. And now? Just then, his mom picks him up, smiling sweetly. "All right, baby, let's have some milk." MC's eyes widen in shock. His expression says it all. What? His mother brings over a baby bottle, and the moment he sees it, his mouth starts watering on its own. A narration explains, "In a baby's body, the first thing you can't fight is hunger." His mom coos, "Seong-guk, you're eating so well. Such a good baby." MC, still in disbelief, thinks, should I call this the best day of my life? Or the weirdest? Being a baby is one thing, but dealing with these two is a whole other challenge. They're so affectionate. I've never known what parental love feels like. A flashback shows MC's past life. His mother rushes out the door saying, "Handle your responsibilities yourself." I'm late for work. His father, with a strict tone, orders, "Jeonseong, take good care of your younger brother." His older brother, Taeguk, appears. Their father continues, "You're the eldest. It's your responsibility. If your little brother needs anything, he'll ask you." MC's eyes snap open, bringing him back to his new reality. This is so different. But now's not the time to get emotional. His new mom calls out to him, and his dad chuckles. "Feeling sleepy after eating?" MC thinks, "No, I need to figure this out." But despite his best efforts, his tiny baby body betrays him. His eyelids grow heavy. Ugh, this body doesn't listen to me at all. Soon he drifts off to sleep. MC's parents sit together, relaxing after putting him to sleep. His mom stretches and says, "Let's just sit and watch some TV while he naps." His dad nods. "Sounds good. Let's just relax." Suddenly, a breaking news report flashes on the TV screen. The anchor reports, "Breaking news, John Jason, chairman of Samjeon Group, has been accused of bribery. New details have emerged in the gift box bribery case." MC's eyes suddenly snap open. He turns toward the TV, his heart racing. His mom chuckles, "Look, honey, Seongguk sat up all by himself." But MC isn't paying attention to her. His mind is elsewhere. "Wait, that's my grandfather, my late grandfather." In the MC is shown crawling toward the TV, staring at the screen with intense focus. The news anchor continues. Today's top story. Many of you have heard about the infamous Apple Box bribery case. Chairman John Jason of Samjeon Group has personally appeared in court today. MC's thoughts race. This is insane. I remember this moment vividly. When I was 10 years old, my grandfather was caught in this bribery scandal. He bribed politicians by stuffing cash into Apple boxes, and then he had to face trial. Those who feared Samjeon Group's growing power used this as an opportunity to take us down, branding our company as corrupt. A dirty company built on bribery. MC grits his teeth. Nonsense. Money is real power, and connections, they're the ultimate superpower. People think they can slowly save their way to wealth. That's nothing but a fairy tale for the poor. MC's mind flashes back to the day of his grandfather's trial. I remember it clearly. The day Grandpa appeared in court, he asked me, his 10-year-old grandson, to push his wheelchair. It was just a publicity stunt to gain sympathy, but to me, it meant something else entirely. That was the day I showed the world who the real heir of Samjeon Group was. But that idiot, my foolish younger brother, ruined everything. Memories of his younger brother flood his mind. He used studying abroad as an excuse to run away. And what did he do? He wasted his life, partying and getting hooked on drugs. The real problem isn't that I've turned into a baby, or that I've gone back in time. The real issue is my fate, my position. Everything is about to be stolen from me. The scene shifts. MC's mom walks in, carrying a cup. "Seongguk, look, Mommy brought you some tasty apple juice." But MC doesn't even glance at her. He just keeps staring at the TV. His mom frowns slightly. What's with him? Why is he acting so strange? Just then, MC's dad walks in and announces, "Honey, I'm back. My boss gave me some leftover meat today." MC's dad heads to the kitchen, getting ready to cook. But before he can start, his wife stops him and subtly gestures toward MC. MC's dad turns his head and raises an eyebrow. Is he still watching TV? His mom sighs. Yeah, and the weirdest part, he only watches the news. If I change the channel or turn it off, he starts crying. MC's dad chuckles. Leave it to me. He walks over to the TV and gently says, Son, Daddy's home now. Let's stop watching TV and play together, okay? MC glares at his father and swats his hand away. I don't have time for this nonsense. I need to gather as much information as possible about Samjeon Group, my grandfather, and most importantly, how to get back into my real body. Before he can think any further, his dad switches off the TV. With a firmer tone, he says, You haven't eaten all day. Come on, eat something first. Then you can rest. Frustration wells up inside MC, and suddenly, his tiny body betrays him. Tears start rolling down his cheeks. His mom immediately picks him up, rocking him gently to calm him down. Inside, MC is screaming, You have no idea how hard I worked to secure my position as the rightful heir of Samjeon Group. Am I really going to lose it all this easily? MC's mom softly whispers, Seongguk, be a good boy, okay? Just rest for today. Tomorrow, I'll let you watch TV again. His body slowly relaxes, and he drifts off to sleep. But even in his sleep, his thoughts are still racing. Maybe this is happening because I've become a baby. I feel like I'm getting dumber by the second. My emotions are all over the place. My thoughts are getting simpler. And every time this woman pats me, I fall asleep without even realizing it. Later that night, MC's parents sit together, talking in hushed voices. His dad sighs. Yuna, I know you've been really worried about Seongguk. This must be a tough time for you. His mom nods, her expression filled with concern. Yeah, it's been almost a year, and he still hasn't called me mom, or you dad even once. All he does is stare at the news screen. I don't know much about parenting, and I'm scared I might be raising him the wrong way. His dad takes her hands gently. So-yeon, we may not have much, but the love we give him is real, right? Don't worry too much. Our son will grow up just fine. We just have to trust him. A few days later, MC sits slumped against the wall, looking exhausted. I'm so tired. I kept pretending to sleep just so I could secretly watch the news. But even after all that, I haven't figured anything out. I've hit a dead end. Just then, his mom walks into the room with a bright smile. Seongguk, you're not watching TV today? You don't want to see the news? MC glances at her and sighs internally. Yeah, I've given up. His mom tilts her head, thinking for a moment, then claps her hands together. How about we go outside for a bit? Let's take a walk to the market. I need to pick up a few things, and we can look at some flowers along the way. She scoops him up and heads toward the door. A cool breeze greets them as they step outside. She takes a deep breath and smiles. Wow, the weather is perfect today. Just then, someone calls out, Miss Yuna! From Unit 107, MC's mom turns to see a young woman walking toward them. Oh, Miss Landlady, heading to work? The landlady laughs and nods. Yep, I've got some business at the market, so I'm heading out early today. She waves goodbye and walks off. MC's mom smiles and waves back. Have a great day. Meanwhile, MC stares at the woman, deep in thought. Wait, the landlord of this building is that young? His mom gently pats his back. All right, Seongguk, let's get going too. MC and his mom arrive at the marketplace, where the streets are bustling with vendors and shoppers. His mom looks around with excitement. Look, we made it. The bean sprouts here are only 101. Let's hurry and do our shopping. I'm going to make some delicious soup today. MC watches his mom as she happily browses the stalls, but suddenly, a loud clang echoes through the air. A heavy steel shutter is falling from above. MC's eyes widen in horror. His mom looks up, and in an instant, she throws herself over MC, shielding him with her body. The shutter crashes down. Blood splatters across the ground. People around them scream in shock. The landlady rushes toward them, panic in her voice. Miss Yuna, are you okay? MC's mom groans in pain, but her eyes remain locked on her son. She whispers weakly, "Don't be scared, baby. Mommy's here. Mommy will protect you." MC's tiny hands tremble as tears stream down his face. "No, Mom, you can't die." The sound of ambulance sirens wail in the distance. Paramedics rush in, quickly assessing the situation. A female doctor examines MC's mom and speaks urgently. She has a head injury. Prepare for immediate surgery. Yet MC's mom slowly regains consciousness. She blinks as her vision clears, and the first thing she sees is her husband sitting beside her. MC's dad grips her hand tightly. "So, Yon, you're awake. Do you feel okay?" His mom's expression shifts as she suddenly remembers. She gasps, panic in her voice. "Wait, where's Seongguk? He was with me." MC's dad takes a deep breath and reassures her. "He's right here." The camera pans out, revealing little MC sitting next to his mother. His dad smiles gently. "Because of you, he's safe. But when you got hurt, he was really scared." He picks up MC and places him in his mother's arms. She wraps her arms around him tightly, whispering, "It's okay, baby. You must have been so scared, but Mommy's fine. I'm just so glad that you're safe, my little Seongguk." MC stares up at his mother, his tiny hands gripping her clothes as tears well up in his eyes. "Did you ever stop to think how precious your life is? What would we have done if something had really happened to you?" His mom glances at her husband, confusion on her face. "Honey, this hospital room, it looks like a private suite. Why did you get such an expensive room? My condition isn't that serious." MC's dad shifts awkwardly and clears his throat. "Well, the doctor said you needed complete rest." MC's mom furrows her brows. "Complete rest? But why?" Before she can finish, a notification flashes on the screen. For pregnant women, strict bed rest is required. Her eyes widen in shock. "Wait, does that mean—" MC's dad lets out a small laugh and nods. "Yep, that's right." Her face lights up with joy. "Really? I'm going to be a mom again?" Her husband gently squeezes her hand. "So for the next week, just focus on resting and getting better, okay?" The scene shifts to show the whole family, happily embracing the news. The atmosphere is warm and filled with joy. Just then, a nurse enters the room and softly says, "Visiting hours are almost over for today." MC's dad scratches his head sheepishly. Yeah, I should get going." He turns to his wife and says, "So-yeon, get some rest. I'll be back tomorrow." She smiles at him. "Take care on your way home, honey." MC watches as his dad picks him up. His tiny cheeks turn a little red, but before he can react, his dad gently lifts him into his arms and starts walking out. It's nighttime, and they stroll along the quiet streets. His dad looks down at him with a warm smile. "All right, son, let's go home." A bus passes by, but MC's dad doesn't get on. MC notices this right away. "Wait, does that mean we can't even afford bus fare?" He glances up at his father. Are we really that poor? But then a different thought crosses his mind. This man, he works tirelessly every day for his family. And my mother, she risked her life to protect me without a second thought. MC stares at his father for a moment. Then, for the first time, he softly says, "Dad." His father stops walking, completely stunned. He blinks in disbelief before breaking into a wide smile. "Did you just call me Dad?" MC's dad looks like he might cry from happiness. It was the first time MC had ever addressed him that way. His father chuckles, holding him close. "My son just called me Dad. This is the best day ever." As they continue walking, MC quietly thinks to himself, "These people, they're my real family now." 1 week later, MC's mom is finally discharged from the hospital. To celebrate, the family holds a small party at home. MC and his parents are dressed in new clothes. His mom beams with happiness. She turns to her husband and says, "Honey, don't you think our son looks incredibly handsome today?" His dad chuckles. "Absolutely. He's even cuter than those celebrity babies." They both admire MC, snapping photos of him. But deep inside, MC is thinking something else. Is this really the time to be celebrating? You guys worked so hard to pay off the hospital bills, you even tried to save on bus fare. When every single penny matters, shouldn't you be avoiding unnecessary expenses like a birthday party? But then MC pauses. That's how I used to think. But now, I finally get it. This is love. This is the kind of love that money can't buy. The kind of love where someone would risk their life for you without hesitation. A small smile forms on his lips as he starts playing with his parents. During the past week, while mom was in the hospital, I made a decision. I have to start taking action. MC looks up at his parents and thinks, to be honest, my parents will never escape poverty on their own. They don't understand investing or financial planning. They don't even have savings because they barely earn enough to survive. And the worst part, a massive economic crisis is coming soon. Just then, the doorbell rings. MC turns toward his mom. "Who is it?" A voice from outside answers. "Miss Soyeon, it's me, Kim Young, your landlord." MC's mom opens the door. The landlady steps inside and smiles. "I heard you got discharged from the hospital, so I wanted to check on you. Oh, by the way, have you ever considered letting your son become a child actor?" MC's eyes widen slightly. Scene transitions to an audition venue. A large sign stands outside the building. "Open auditions for child actors. Looking for the next generation of stars." MC's mom stares at the sign. "So, this is the place?" MC glances up at the building and thinks, "Looks decent. They must have invested a lot of money into this place." Just then, Seongguk's mother mutters, "What should I do? I hope I didn't come here for nothing." Seongguk looks at his mother and says, "What are you saying?" "This is a golden opportunity for me." His mother sighs and steps inside the building, thinking, "Well, let's go in." Flashback. A few days earlier, Seongguk's parents were speaking with their landlord, a woman who seemed to have some important connections. Seongguk's parents, surprised, ask, "A child actor?" The landlord lady nods. "The company I work for is shooting a TV commercial for a major corporate group. We're looking for an important child actor through auditions." Looking at Seongguk, she adds, "Your child is quite beautiful, and I think he has talent." Back to the present. The scene shifts to the audition venue, where many parents have gathered with their children. Seongguk smirks slightly and thinks, "See, those who are meant to succeed will always succeed. This is my chance to make money." He recalls his past life. Since childhood, I was always surrounded by cameras. Makeup and camera work were basic skills for me. That's why I was often called someone who could be both a businessman and an actor. A simple audition like this, I can win it easily. I'll take all the prize money and guaranteed contracts and reinvest that money. Just then, the elevator arrives. Seongguk's mother steps forward to enter. But suddenly someone shouts, "What do you think you're doing? You can't go in yet." Seongguk and his mother turn to see a woman stepping into the elevator with another lady carrying a baby. Seongguk's mother asks, "Why can't I go in first?" Now, all three of them are inside the elevator. The woman with a rude tone says, "I'm in a hurry. Get out of my way." Seongguk's attention shifts to the baby, who keeps staring at him. He starts feeling annoyed. Meanwhile, his mother turns to the other lady and says, "Your son is really cute." The lady replies, "He's not my son. He's my young master." Hearing this, the first woman snorts and says, "Don't say things like that. You're here for the audition too, aren't you? Are you trying to size up the competition? No matter how hard you try, only our Jay will win." Seongguk clenches his fists in anger. The woman notices his reaction and looks surprised. Why is this kid so mad? She wonders. Meanwhile, Seongguk observes her closely. She's wearing expensive clothes and even has a nanny with her. That means she's from a rich family. But that doesn't matter. I'm still gonna win, and I'll completely crush them in this audition. Now, the scene shifts back to the audition venue. A little girl is asked to look at the camera, but the bright lights make her uncomfortable, and she struggles to act. Next, it's the turn of the same baby, Seongguk, met in the elevator. One of the men in the audience murmurs, "Oh, isn't that the wife of Dag Bong Paper?" The woman replies arrogantly, "Stop talking and just watch." Seongguk and his mother are surprised. Dag Bang Paper? Seongguk thinks. So they're from that family. Their company is a mid-sized business. Let's see how talented their child is. The audition begins. The child is asked to smile for the camera. But instead of smiling, the baby looks scared and starts crying. One of the judges frowns. If he keeps crying, it'll be hard to move forward. The woman, however, starts arguing. Meanwhile, the director, already frustrated because he hasn't found a single good child actor, loses his patience. Irritated, he orders, "Assistant director, please take them outside and let them calm down. The audition will continue." Now, it's finally Seongguk's turn. He is seated in front of the camera. The assistant director says, "All right, let's start your audition." Seongguk's mother is about to say his name when suddenly the first woman steps forward and says, "Move aside. I need to see properly." Seongguk smirks internally. "Yeah, watch closely. Because now, I'll show you exactly why I succeed, and why your child doesn't." The audition begins. Seongguk flashes a pure, innocent smile. The director's face instantly lights up. "Amazing! This kid is a genius." He observes Seongguk from different angles and is impressed by how naturally he acts. The director immediately says, "Start the recruitment process right away." Seongguk's mother, overwhelmed with emotion, thinks, "My son, he's a genius." Then, the director turns to her and says, "Miss Seongguk's mother, I'm Director Kyog Jun-na. Your son is truly incredible. Do you have any contract conditions in mind?" The story begins inside an audition hall, where the director and Seongguk's mother are having a conversation. Seongguk's mom is anxious and asks the director, "Director, does Seongguk really have talent?" The director smiles and replies, "I got a little too excited and made a quick decision. But yes, Seongguk is incredibly talented. He wasn't just natural in front of the camera, but he followed every direction perfectly, as if he instinctively knew everything." Seongguk, with a cute expression, thinks to himself, "Well, I actually did understand everything." The director excitedly continues, "I'm really looking forward to working with him." Suddenly, a woman storms into the hall. She's the same one from the elevator scene in the previous episode. Furious, she shouts, "What on earth is going on here? The final audition hasn't even taken place, yet you're all acting like the winner has already been chosen. Is this fair?" Her anger intensifies as she says, "I can only accept Jay, no one else." The scene then shifts to the audition results being displayed on a screen. The final list contains only two names, Seongguk and Jay, the child of the arrogant woman. Outside, Seongguk's mother and the woman anxiously wait for the results. Seeing Seongguk's name on the list, his mother smiles with pride and says, "Our Seongguk made it to the final round. Among all those beautiful and talented children, our son stood out as the best." However, her expression suddenly changes as Gina, the maid who always accompanies the woman, steps forward. Gina asks, Madam, is something wrong? Seongguk's mother replies, I need to use the bathroom. Gina nods. Give me the baby, and you can go quickly. Handing over Seongguk, his mother leaves. Now, the maid is holding both babies, Seongguk and Jae. She looks at Seongguk with curiosity and whispers, The more I look at this baby, the more I feel like he's different. This child is special. Just then, the woman turns toward the maid, furious. Are you serious? She yells. The maid, startled, quickly lowers her head. The woman continues shouting, I'm already irritated that Jae is being compared to this child. Do you really want to lose your job? Terrified, the maid stammers, No, madam. I made a mistake. Seongguk watches the entire scene unfold, growing more and more furious. In his mind, he thinks, Look at the way she talks. So arrogant. If only I could slap her, I'd feel a lot better. At that moment, the assistant director rushes in and starts talking to the woman. I was just about to call you, he says. Looking around nervously, he asks, Where are Seongguk's parents? The woman answers, They haven't arrived yet. They left the baby with someone else, so feel free to talk. Seongguk watches the interaction closely. The woman, still annoyed, says, Is this really fair? I only signed up to create some memories, but now my son Jae has to compete with this child? Wasn't my son already chosen as the winner? The assistant director hesitates, but replies, Yes, madam, that's correct, but this is just a formality. Seongguk thinks, This is exactly how corruption works. The winner was decided in advance, and the audition is just a show. They're using other kids just to promote their own. The assistant director adds, Madam, please bear with this a little longer. If the director finds out, it'll cause problems. The woman scoffs. The director doesn't know our family? Haven't the top officials already made their decision? What can the director do? The assistant director argues. The director has won many awards. Even the top officials can't override his decisions. We have to keep this hidden from him. The assistant director then asks, You've prepared well for the final audition, right? The woman replies confidently, Of course. I hired a private tutor to train Jae properly. Seongguk listens, his anger growing. The assistant director smirks. That's all we need. In the end, Jae, who has practiced a lot, will perform better than that other kid. He walks over to Jae and smiles. All right, Jae, let's practice. Repeat after me. Seongguk's face turns serious for a moment. Then he gives a small smile. The scene shifts back to the audition. The camera turns on, and both Seongguk and Jae stand in front of it. Seongguk's mother prays silently, while he looks at her and gives a thumbs up. Don't worry, just focus, he says, with confidence. The director calls out, Action! The assistant director says, Kids, please look this way. Seongguk thinks to himself, following camera direction is also part of the score. I need to position myself correctly. Without hesitation, Seongguk moves directly toward the camera, while Jae turns to look at his mother. The woman, frustrated, tells him, You need to face the camera. The director watches Seongguk closely and murmurs, Should we start with Guk instead? The assistant director prompts, The lines, he thinks, Jae has memorized the script and practiced, while this kid knows nothing. He'll definitely fail. The assistant director says, Seongguk, repeat after me. But instead of responding normally, Seongguk suddenly makes a cute face and blurts out, Daddy. The assistant director is stunned. The director bursts out laughing. As expected, seekers never lie. The woman panics and shouts, Wait, please look at Jae too. The director shifts his attention to Jae and gives him another chance. Hurriedly, the woman tells Jay, "Try, Jay. Say, Daddy." Jay's face crumples, and he starts crying instead. The woman, furious, exclaims, "No, this isn't right. I trained him for this." The director raises an eyebrow and asks, "Training?" The assistant director realizes that nothing can be done now. He sighs and announces, "I'm ending the audition here. Thank you, everyone, for your hard work." Seongguk smiles confidently and thinks to himself, "There's no turning back now. This body has already won." The announcer's voice echoes through the hall. "Find the next generation child actor." The final winner of the audition, Lee Jae. Seongguk's mother is in shock. Seongguk's mother is in shock. She stares at the screen in disbelief. This can't be," she mutters. "Wait, my Seongguk was doing so well." Nearby, the assistant director scoffs and says, "Just because he looked cute doesn't mean he's a good child actor." Seongguk's mother is even more shocked by this statement. At that moment, a graceful woman, Lee Jae's mother, steps forward. With a soft smile, but a cold tone, she sneers, "How did you even think you could win?" Seongguk's mother, furious, is about to respond when the woman leans in closer and whispers, "For a lower-class child like yours, even second place is more than enough. You did put in some effort, didn't you?" Then she turns and walks away. Seongguk's mother clenches her fists. Her eyes reflect both pain and anger. She whispers in disbelief, "How could a mother say something like that in front of her own child?" Seongguk looks at his mother, but his expression remains calm. Inside, he thinks, "Stay calm, Mom. This is exactly what I expected. If I'm right, their next move will come soon." Suddenly, the director rushes toward Seongguk's mother and stops her. "Can we talk for a moment?" he asks urgently. A flashback begins, showing the same woman planning to make her son the winner from the start. Seongguk thinks, "The moment I overheard that, I changed my strategy immediately. I've dealt with people like this before, those who try to win by paying their way through. Winning against them is impossible, and fighting a battle that's already lost is a waste of time." Determination shines in Seongguk's eyes. A confident smile appears on his face. He thinks, "A true businessman always thinks ahead. Building connections is the key." The director, looking anxious, turns to Seongguk's mother and says, "Please, just hear me out." She looks at him, surprised. She can't believe what she's hearing. The director hesitates, but finally admits, "It seems like the selection was fixed by high officials from the start. I'm sorry. And Seongguk, I'm sorry you had to witness all this." Seongguk, secretly pleased, thinks, "Yes, now let's get to the real deal." The director directly offers Seongguk's mother an opportunity. "Can you bring Seongguk for a commercial shoot next week?" Seongguk's eyes light up. "This is my real goal," he thinks. "First, build a connection with the director. Through him, I'll get child actor roles. And then, I'll become a child star. And money will pour down like rain." A small, satisfied smile appears on his face. "With that money, I'll fully support my home and family." However, his mother, still confused, asks, "Why do we need to go to a commercial shoot?" The director explains, "We always keep backup baby models in case the winner falls sick or something goes wrong. Honestly, we're even a little concerned about the winner." Then, with a respectful tone, he requests, "Please, just help us this one time." Seongguk's mother hesitates. She thinks, "I'm not sure. Is this the right thing for Seongguk?" Meanwhile, Seongguk is thrilled. "Absolutely. This is going to be fun." Excited, he exclaims, "Yes, Mom, we're going." A strange smile appears on his face. The director, noticing his expression, is surprised. This kid, he understands everything. If all child actors were like him, my job would be so much easier, the director mutters to himself. The director then asks, "Can I get your contact information?" He hands over his business card. Seongguk's mother, still hesitant, finally shares her contact details. Scene transition, shooting location. The setting changes to a beautiful, forested area. Seongguk's mother arrives and looks around in amazement. "I can't believe such a place exists in the middle of the forest," she says. Just then, the assistant director approaches. Seeing him, Seongguk immediately feels anger rise inside him. This corrupt assistant director, he thinks. The assistant director notices Seongguk's sharp gaze and wonders, why does this child look so angry? Then, turning to Seongguk's mother, he says, "You're here as the backup model, right? I heard from the director. Follow me, we've prepared a waiting room for you." Seongguk is surprised as he follows the assistant director. Inside, he thinks, wait a second. The third generation washing machine, Sun Turbo Washer. Its revolutionary drum system made the company's stocks skyrocket, and Grandpa was overjoyed. Is this that same commercial? No, hold on. Just then, a woman storms toward them, her face full of anger. She yells, "What are these people doing here? They clearly failed the audition. Why are they still standing around?" Without hesitation, Seongguk's mother responds firmly, "The director invited us as backup models." Seongguk watches his mother and thinks, "Wow, Mom, you're amazing." But the woman gets even angrier. She shouts, "A backup model? Seriously?" The assistant director steps in to calm her down. He says, "Well, just in case Jay's condition worsens, or if we need a substitute." The woman scoffs and laughs mockingly. "Our Jay doesn't need a substitute. What's so difficult about this commercial? He's in top condition." Seongguk glances at Jay and thinks, but he doesn't look like he's in top condition. The woman yells again, "Either way, you people are useless. Just leave." But suddenly, a soft yet firm voice interrupts her. A female lead actress steps forward. She asks, "What's going on here?" The camera zooms in on her face, beautiful, elegant, and slightly older than Seongguk. On the screen, her name appears, Shinmi. With a slight smile, she asks, "Are these the babies I'll be shooting with today?" The assistant director quickly responds, "Yes, yes." That boy is the backup model, and Jay is the audition winner. Shinmi kneels down and reaches out to Jay with a kind smile. "Hi, I'm your Nuna, and I'll be shooting with you today. Let's have fun." But Jay turns his head away, ignoring her completely. She looks a little awkward and mutters, "Oh, well, looks like he's not interested in me." Then she shifts her gaze and smiles at Seongguk. "And what about you, little one? Will you say hi to your Nuna?" Seongguk smiles slightly and thinks, "Another new connection. Interaction with the main lead actress? Of course." Shinmi pats his head gently and chuckles. "Wow, I've never seen such a friendly baby before." Seongguk's mother beams with pride. "Our Seongguk is very sweet and sociable." Shinmi laughs and says, "I think this baby is cuter. Can I shoot with him instead?" The woman's face twists in anger. She immediately grabs Shinmi's wrist and yells, "What nonsense are you saying? Stop interfering!" Seongguk and his mother stay silent, watching the argument unfold like an entertaining drama. Inside, Seongguk thinks, this is getting interesting. Shinmi, however, doesn't back down. She fires back, "Excuse me? And who exactly are you to tell me what to do?" Just then, a deep yet calm voice cuts through the tension. A man places his hand on the woman's shoulder. I heard someone shouting angrily, he says. What's going on here? The woman freezes for a moment before turning around, furious. Who the hell are you? She snaps. Shinmi, however, smiles when she sees the man. Vice chairman? She says, surprised. What brings you here? In a calm tone, he replies, I wouldn't miss the commercial shoot for our new product. Jeonguk's eyes widen in shock. Inside, Jeonguk stands frozen, staring at the vice chairman. His mind races. No way. That man. He's my father from my past life. And with that shocking realization, the scene ends. So, what will happen next? Will Jeonguk get closer to the vice chairman? Will this unexpected encounter change his fate? And most importantly, will he be able to turn this situation in his favor?
On the screen, Seong-guk's father from his past life, Jeon Jae-young, appears. In the background, Seong-guk's voice can be heard. Seong-guk thinks, my father, Jeon Jae-young, may not have been as extraordinary as my grandfather, Chairman Jeon Jae-sun, but he was a capable vice chairman. He demonstrated excellent leadership in restructuring and organizing the company. Whenever a crisis arose, he invested without hesitation, and because he boldly invested in specialized sectors, he became recognized as a visionary leader. He was the future business leader of the industry. As a successful vice chairman, this was his identity, but as a person, as a husband, and as a father, he was the worst. Seong-guk lets out a slight chuckle with a strange expression. He thinks, this all feels so weird, like forgotten memories suddenly coming back. Flashback, a 10-year-old Seong-guk stands next to his father. His father is introducing him to a woman. Seong-guk thinks, my father always had many girlfriends. When I was 10, he introduced me separately to a particular woman. The camera briefly shows a glimpse of a beautiful woman. She was my father's 9th girlfriend. At the time, I had completely forgotten about her. But now, suddenly, I remember everything. She was my father's girlfriend. And now she has become the famous actress Seon-hee. Scene shifts to the present. The same woman, Seon-hee, is now a famous actress. She is talking to the vice chairman. Seon-hee says, this time I was filming with some kids. One of the children really caught my attention. She points towards Seong-guk. The vice chairman looks at him with a slight smile. The vice chairman smirks slightly and says, it looks like this kid is quite smart. Seong-guk and his mother suddenly become shocked. Fear appears in his mother's eyes, but she says nothing. The vice chairman slowly walks towards Seong-guk and softly says, hello. Seong-guk thinks to himself, is he really talking to me? Just then, an assistant calls the vice chairman. Sir, it's time to go inside. We are already very late. The vice chairman says with slight regret, unfortunately, I have to leave now. Before leaving, he looks at the arrogant lady and says seriously, please, take care of the shoot. The arrogant lady becomes nervous and quickly replies, yes, I will do my best. Seong-guk thinks to himself, for a woman like Deok-pung's wife, openly going against Samjun's vice chairman won't be easy. Jeon Jae-young was always like this. On the outside, he seemed like just a playboy who was always surrounded by women. But when the right time came, he displayed the true charisma of a powerful corporate leader. Before leaving, the vice chairman gently places his hand on Seong-guk's head and smiles. Kid, take care during the shoot. Then he slowly walks away. Seong-guk watches him leave and takes a deep breath. I won't live the same way I did in my past life. He looks at his mother, whose eyes still show worry. Now, I have something I can truly call my own, and I will protect it. The camera follows the vice chairman as he slowly walks away. Determination is clear in Seong-guk's eyes. One day, I will build a company bigger than Samjun, and when that day comes, we will meet again. The shooting set becomes lively. The assistant director announces, all right, everyone. We're about to start filming. The director will be here soon, so please get ready. Seong-guk looks at the lady's baby and thinks, let's focus on what's important right now. A commercial begins. In a lush green jungle, a mother is washing clothes in a villa while a child plays nearby. The mother is washing a white shirt covered in sweat and dirt. The Samsung washing machine spins, and the shirt comes out bright white. The child happily rubs his cheek against the shirt and calls his dad. The commercial ends with a close-up of a fresh and shiny washing machine. Seong-guk smiles slightly. In my past life, this ad was a huge hit. It even won an award for Best Direction, and the child actor in this ad became a star. So, should I not take this ad this time? Scene change. The lady's baby refuses to act and keeps crying. Actress Seon Hee, looking frustrated, says, "No, baby." What's going on? She tries to pick the baby up, but the baby hits her hard. Jungkook's mother, looking worried, says, "Oh God, why is this child suddenly acting like this?" Jungkook says, "I don't know how, but maybe because I was a baby too. I can communicate with him easily." Then, we see how Seonggook slowly starts persuading the baby in his own way. If you want to leave this place quickly and go home, just do exactly what I tell you. Hey. The director, looking serious, says, "We will shoot with the second model." The director, in a firm tone, replies, "The shoot has been on hold for an hour. Your baby isn't listening and keeps hitting the actress. What else can we do?" The director angrily yells at the lady, "Do you even realize we need to finish filming today?" The arrogant lady becomes flustered and immediately pulls out her phone. She angrily calls her father-in-law and says, "I'm calling my father-in-law right now. He absolutely adores his grandson. I will have all of you removed immediately." But suddenly, the actress slaps the lady across the face. The actress, with an angry expression, says, "What nonsense is this? When people who have nothing to do with the set start interfering, it really pisses me off. Just because you're the wife of an executive at Deokpung Paper doesn't mean you can act like you're above everyone else." The director makes a comic expression and says, "All right, enough. Take the baby inside." He looks at the director and declares, "I want to shoot with this child. The present time." Hearing this, the director finally agrees. "Everybody, get ready. From here on, we are going to shoot the ad with Seonggook." But that arrogant lady, annoyed, snaps, "What? Why is he shooting this lower-class kid instead of our Jay? What could that lower-class kid even do?" Seonggook's mother quickly covers his ears. "Don't listen, Seonggook." But Seonggook doesn't pay attention to her words. Right now, he's thinking to himself. Seeing the red light of the camera, a thought crosses his mind. In my past life, I tried so hard to escape from the camera. But now, acting with confidence is my greatest strength. I know exactly what to do in front of the camera. Perfectly. The scene changes. Seonggook is in the actress's arms. The director holds the camera. The assistant director gives instructions. After that, the advertisement shooting begins. Seonggook acts so adorably that the director, excited, blurts out, "Keep the main camera as it is, and focus all other cameras on Seonggook." The vice director shouts with excitement, "Yes, sir." Seonggook's perfect acting continues. He's just too cute. The director, watching his performance in shock, mutters, "Who exactly is this baby? It's like we are performing with a professional." Even Seon Hee is stunned. "Seriously? This baby is acting like..." She loses her focus completely until the voice director reminds her about the script. Feeling embarrassed, she quickly regains her composure and continues her acting with Seonggook. Finally, after the last line from the actress, the advertisement shoot is complete. As soon as the shoot ends, the arrogant lady steps forward, furious. She snaps, "Just because he performed a little cutely, are you really making him the model instead of our Jay? A director? Then what about Jay, the one who can't even act?" Her anger grows, while Seonggook's mother looks tense. Seonggook himself feels exhausted and thinks, "I'm so tired." Seon Hee, smiling, reassures Seonggook's mother, "Don't worry, no matter how much that madam yells, nothing is going to change." Speaking calmly, she continues, "If the child simply can't act, then making such a big fuss is meaningless. Compared to him, Seonggook was by far the best. I thought finishing this shoot would take forever, but we wrapped it up in just 2 takes. The lady shouts in rage. "Don't make me laugh. You're just a clueless actress. Do you even know how much money I invested in this worthless ad?" Fuming, she points at the assistant director and barks, "You! Tell me, you gained quite a lot from this ad too, didn't you?" The director glares at her, his voice firm. "He got paid well. We'll talk about this separately later." Hearing this, the arrogant lady explodes. She glares at everyone and screams, "I don't care about this worthless commercial. I'll sue all of you. Just wait and see." She storms out of the set. The director sighs, then turns to Seonggook's mother. "This might have been a little shocking for you, but to be honest, if Seonggook weren't here, who knows what would have happened. Anyway, there's no more shooting left. You all can head home and rest. Pausing for a moment, he adds, the shooting fee will be processed through the company, and it will be paid with full honesty. Meanwhile, Seon-hee turns to Jungkook's mother. Would it be okay if I drop you home? Scene change. Inside the car, Jungkook is sleeping deeply. Seon-hee looks at him and smiles softly. He looks so adorable when he sleeps. Jungkook's mother smiles lightly and replies, of course he does. My son must be really tired today. Pausing for a moment, she continues, by the way, thank you for bringing us in such a nice car. Seon-hee nods slightly and replies, actually, I should be the one thanking Jungkook. Surprised, Jungkook's mother asks, thanking my Jungkook? But why? Seon chuckles and replies, today, Jungkook was an amazing lead actor. Because of him, I was able to finish work early and leave on time. Jungkook's mother listens carefully. Seon continues, that child, his eyes were following the camera light. He understood camera work, and he performed according to my rhythm. Pausing slightly, she smiles. Maybe it was just a coincidence, but he even matched my face angles. Don't you think your right side looks better on screen than your left? Jungkook's mother looks at him in surprise. Seon-hee continues. He understood the entire shoot's flow and gave his best performance. In my eyes, Seong-gook is already a complete actor. Seong-gook's mother continues to stare at him in amazement. Then, Seon-hee looks at her and says, because of that, Seong-gook's mother, I want to give you a suggestion. Seong-gook's mother looks at Seon attentively. Just then, Seong-gook suddenly wakes up from his sleep. Seon-hee says something, but the audience isn't told what she said. Seong-gook thinks to himself, are you serious? I am really sorry about the background noise. Please forgive me. And yes, if you guys are enjoying this explanation, then please consider subscribing my channel. Don't forget to comment your opinion. Scene shift. Sing-gook's home. Landlord lady hands 4 million won to Sing-gook's parents and says, actually the payment for the shoot was 3 million, but the director insisted on increasing it. So, we raised it a little more as per his request. Sing-gook looks at the money in front of him, his eyes gleaming. A slight smile appears on his face as he thinks, just as I thought. Child acting was definitely the right choice. Money is everything. After all, in this baby body, what other way do I have to make this much money? Feeling excited, he continues thinking, for now, this starting capital is enough. Should I invest it in stocks or gold? Sing-gook's father takes the money excitedly and turns to his wife saying, so yug, this is 4 million won? I've never held this much money in my hands before. Sing-gook's mother is about to say something, but suddenly pauses, deep in thought. Then, she hands a card to the landlord lady and says, Miss Landlord, last night, actress Seon gave me this. Seeing the card, Sing-gook thinks to himself, oh, it's that thing from last night. No wonder Mom was so shocked. The landlord lady also looks surprised as she examines the card. This is the business card of actress Sion's agency, Sinsang Entertainment. Sing-gook's mother, still in disbelief, says, it looks like Sion really likes Sing-gook. She wants him to become a child actor under her agency. Sing-gook's father suddenly blurts out, are they trying to turn our kid into a celebrity? His mother hesitates for a moment and then speaks softly, I really don't know. If Sing-gook does well, this could be great for him. But everything is happening so suddenly I can't think straight right now. The landlord lady, after thinking for a bit, says, don't worry, I'll find out more about this. I've heard of Sinsang Entertainment before. I'll check who their CEO is and how they treat their actors. Sing-gook's mother sighs in relief, while Sing-gook himself thinks, this lady is really going this far for me? Just then, the landlord lady gets up and says, don't worry, just relax. Oh, and congratulations to Sing-gook on his debut. He's officially a commercial model now. The commercial will air for the first time in 2 weeks. Anyway, I have to go now. Lots of work to do. As the landlord lady steps outside, Sing-gook's mother suddenly stops her from behind. Wait a minute, Miss Landlord. The landlord lady turns around and asks, what is it? Is something bothering you? Sing-gook's mother hesitates before speaking. No, it's just I wanted to ask, why are you helping us so much? You were the first to recognize Singuk's talent, and every time you've stood by us, the landlord lady gives a gentle smile and replies, I just wanted to support you. I've been alone since childhood, and it was really tough. I always saved money on food and clothes just to buy this building. Then one day, you guys moved in as tenants. Seeing a young couple working so hard was truly admirable. I wanted to cheer for you both. Hearing this, Singuk's mother becomes emotional and softly says, If you don't mind, can I call you Ani? For those who don't know, Ani is a term used by younger women to address an older female, like a sister. The landlord lady looks a bit surprised and is about to respond when Singuk's mother continues. If you don't mind, I'd really like to call you Ani. I want to consider you part of our family and even make side dishes for you. The landlord lady smiles gently and thinks, This family, they're so warm-hearted. Then she softly replies, Alright, that means I should start calling you So Young then? Singuk's mother, now beaming, responds, Of course, Myung Uni. Meanwhile, we see Singuk standing near the door, quietly listening to everything. A small smile appears on his face. At the same time, his father, sitting behind him, looks at his son in surprise, watching him smile. Scene change. Later that night, Singuk's father is seen greeting a customer at the store's entrance. Then, he turns to his boss with a smile and says, Just like you said, we've closed the store early for today. The camera shifts to Singuk's father's boss, Jusi, who is sitting with Singuk on his lap. Singuk looks completely drained, while Jusi appears overly happy. Singuk's father, still cheerful, says, Thank you so much for letting us close early today, just so we could all watch Singuk's first commercial together. Jusi laughs while holding Singuk and says, No problem at all. Besides, we have a big TV in our shop, and honestly, I was really excited to watch Singuk's debut commercial too. He playfully pulls Singuk's cheeks. Annoyed, Singuk thinks to himself, If this old man wasn't my dad's boss, I wouldn't tolerate this at all. But just for today, since I owe him, I'll let it slide. Just then, the landlord lady walks in and asks, Did I miss anything? Singuk's mother smiles and says, Ani, come in. You're right on time. The commercial is about to start. The landlord lady laughs and says, It really feels like we're all gathering to watch a movie together. At that moment, Singuk's father excitedly announces, Alright everyone, sit down. It's starting. The TV screen lights up and Singuk's commercial begins. Seeing his adorable performance, Singuk's mother and Myung Uni both cheer with excitement. His parents and Jusi, sitting in front of the screen, smile while watching his cute acting. Jusi claps and exclaims, Amazing! Just perfect! This is top tier. The landlord lady also smiles and says, Wow, that was really good. Meanwhile, Singuk thinks to himself, the editing is well done. If everything goes smoothly, this could even win Commercial of the Year. Just then, his father proudly hugs him and says, I'm so proud of my son. Such a sweet and talented boy. How is he even my child? Suddenly, the shop's phone rings. Jusi picks up the call and says, Hello? Sorry, we've closed early today. Suddenly, his expression changes. He looks surprised. The scene shifts to the person on the other end of the call. It's the director who shot Singuk's commercial. He speaks in a serious tone. I heard you're all watching it together. I have something very important to discuss with Singuk's parents. Behind him, 5 unfamiliar actors stand in a row, each of them incredibly handsome and well dressed. Can I speak to his parents? The scene shifts to the next day, where we see Ryuk's parents entering a huge building. The director warmly welcomes them and thanks them for coming from so far away. Ryuk's dad shakes hands with the director and thanks him for inviting them to the studio. The director then looks at the child actor with a smile and asks if he's doing well. Meanwhile, as Ryuk's teeth started coming in, he began speaking more than before, even calling out to the director. Seeing this, the director was shocked. Ryuk had become much more vocal. His mother calmly explained that Ryuk had reached the age where he was starting to speak fluently. She mentioned that he babbled all day long, constantly trying to have strange little conversations with his parents. Hearing this, the director was pleased. He thought, now they could start giving him longer dialogues. And that's exactly what Ryuk wanted, because he knew that if he could smoothly deliver long dialogues, his payment would increase. Internally, he was laughing to himself, thinking, soon he would be able to speak any line perfectly, like a professional. Even the director started to feel impressed by Ryuk's development, so he invited his parents to take a seat. They began discussing things, and the director explained that he wanted to produce a new program with Ryuk as the main lead. The show was called Just Baby, a childcare variety show featuring a famous 5-member idol group alongside Ryuk. But before the director could even finish his sentence, Ryuk's parents were shocked upon hearing the name of the idol group, and just then, a blonde-haired boy introduced himself as Young, the leader of Just Group. Ryuk's mom immediately started blushing upon seeing him. Smiling, Young cheerfully told them he was excited to work with them. Then, he removed his mask, and just like that, his energy filled the entire room. His mesmerizing aura completely captivated Ryuk's mom. After all, she was already a huge fan of Just Group. On the other hand, Ryuk's dad was utterly confused about what was happening. Young quickly noticed that Ryuk's mom was already familiar with their group. Her eyes sparkled as she told Young that she had seen him on TV multiple times, and thought he was an amazing performer. Hearing this, Young blushed a little and smiled, saying that they still had a lot to learn, but they were working day and night to become the nation's top idol group. He politely requested Ryuk's mom to keep supporting them. With confidence, Ryuk's mom assured him that with their flawless singing and dancing, he and his team would soon become big names in the idol scene. But at that moment, something unusual was happening on the other side. Ryuk was surprised to see that his dad was getting jealous, wondering why his wife was so interested in another guy. Ryuk knew that jealousy was a weird thing, and he hoped his dad would snap out of it soon. But before anything else could happen, the director brought the conversation back on track. He explained that once filming began, the parents would also get a chance to meet the rest of the idol members. The moment she heard this, Ryuk's mom got even more excited, already imagining when she'd finally get to meet them. However, a sudden realization hit her. She wasn't here for herself, but for her child. She started worrying that this show might put too much pressure on Ryuk. Seeing her concern, Ryuk felt deeply emotional. He promised himself that he would never forget his mother because she chose him over her favorite idol. Even the director seemed slightly concerned, but one thing was certain, Ryuk was the key to this show's success. By now, the director was convinced. Ryuk understood everything happening around him. His expressions were naturally clear, and he handled the camera perfectly. Because of this, the director couldn't even imagine anyone else as the main star of Just Baby. He turned to Ryuk and asked what he thought about the show. But before he could even finish the question, Ryuk had already shouted out in excitement. He knew this was something he absolutely had to do. At that moment, a memory from his past life resurfaced. He had seen the show before. It was a unique concept, a child and an idol group together, capturing the hearts of the audience with its fresh approach. After all, everyone loves cute babies. There's no doubt about that. People were charmed by the sight of idols struggling to take care of a baby. Audiences of all ages enjoyed the show, some reminiscing about their parenting days, while others imagining what it would be like to become parents themselves. Slowly, this show became a national sensation, setting a new trend for childcare reality shows, making the producers a fortune. Ryuk knew this show was perfect for his goals, to earn tons of money and become a superstar child actor. Excitedly, he banged the table, calling the director repeatedly. The director immediately understood. Ryuk was completely ready for this project. On the other hand, his father was a little worried. He told the director that if Ryuk kept appearing on TV, he wouldn't grow up like a normal kid. He didn't want his son to become just a money-making tool. The director got a little tense, wondering how to handle the situation. That's when Young spoke up. He understood the father's concern and explained that he was once a child actor too. Being on TV and always under the public eye wasn't easy, but he never regretted it because he got the right platform to showcase his talent, and that's why he had reached where he was today. Young reassured them if Ryuk ever felt like he didn't want to do this anymore, he could leave the show anytime without any issues. The director also encouraged the father, saying that if his son wanted to shine, they shouldn't hold him back. The father looked at Ryuk, who appeared far more talented and charismatic than other kids his age. Eventually he agreed, and everyone celebrated. The father shook hands with the director, telling him to take good care of his son. Young also clapped to celebrate their success. And just like that, the planning for the first ever childcare reality show, Just Baby, was finalized. The first shoot date was set, and everyone got busy signing contracts and preparing for the concept filming. Finally, the big day arrived. The studio was filled with cameras being set up, and the talented teenage idols were introduced one by one. First came the group leader, Young, then the second member, Lucas. Next was Yun, the one with pink hair. The fourth member was Cyan, and lastly, there was Michael, who had a mischievous smile on his face. Ryuk's mother was mesmerized by all of them since she had always seen them on TV. The idols respectfully greeted Ryuk's parents. Suddenly, Yun ran up to Ryuk's mother, excitedly asking if she was a fan of their group. Ryuk's mother was completely flustered, and, as expected, his father's jealousy shot through the roof. Meanwhile, Ryuk was enjoying, watching his father's hilarious expressions. That's when the director grabbed everyone's attention, announcing that the filming would take place at Just Idol Group's dormitory. The channel had high hopes for this show, so everyone had to give their best. From the very first day, everything was spectacular. The idol group asked the director for the script, but they were shocked to find out that this show had no script. It was all going to be natural. Ryuk started recalling things from his past life. He remembered that Young and Cyan had connections to his previous corporate life. He had never paid much attention to them before, but now that these memories were resurfacing, he was shocked. Suddenly, Ryuk heard a strange voice behind him. It was Michael, taunting him, saying, "What are you even doing here? You're not even cute." Michael was an extremely arrogant guy, and he tried to touch Ryuk. But Ryuk didn't like being touched without permission, so he quickly smacked Michael's hand away, angrily thinking, "How dare he touch me so carelessly?" Young immediately stepped in and scolded Michael, explaining that before touching a young child, one should always wash and sanitize their hands. Even Ryuk's father looked a little surprised and asked his son if he was okay, but Ryuk already knew Michael. He recalled that in his previous life, Michael had also been a troublemaker, an annoying Korean-American guy who always created unnecessary drama. That's when Ryuk made up his mind. He would take complete control of the show and shape every character's narrative to his advantage. With a sweet smile, Ryuk charmed everyone, except Michael. But deep down, Michael was plotting something else. He smirked and thought to himself, "Just wait. Let's see what happens next."
Hello, friends. Sorry for taking your time again. But if you are enjoying this story explanation, then please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, and share. Thank you.